All right. So welcome, welcome. So listen, I put out a big all call. You guys know I did this TEDx talk back in April and it just came out last weekend and I'm just like super excited and I have gotten so many of you who have texted, who have called and just said congratulations and I just wanted to have an opportunity with you to say thank you and talk a little bit about it. And so this is just going to be a real casual conversation. And at first, I was just going to have this conversation by myself. I was just going to have this conversation with you guys and say, let me just operate this. But then God dropped something in my spirit, and I said, there is somebody I'm going to call. Well, actually, I texted her and I said, I wonder if she would join me. And I'm going to bring her up in a second. Some of you may have met her before, some of my family has. Years ago, when I was a middle school teacher, I had a special student. I had a special student who I am still in contact with who is doing amazing things. She is actually in education herself now, and she is just someone I thought would be wonderful, especially because I'm talking about teachers and students. To have her come to the stage and help facilitate this conversation today. So I'm going to bring Ashley Harris. Come on, Harris on the mic. Harris on the mic up to the stage and she's going to help us go through the agenda today. So I'm not doing all the talking. We're going to watch the video, but I'm going to kind of let her do it and sit back because I'm just so proud of her and all that she's doing. Hey,
Hi.
Ashley.
Hey, Miss Felton King. I always say Miss Felton. What's up, guys? One, I want to say thank you for, again, just for asking me to do this to be a part of something so major. I can say my middle school teacher has a TEDx and is doing great things. So I just want to say thank you. I'm Harris, or Harris on the mic, as people call me in the facilitation hosting realm. Um, I was Miss Felton's. I had Miss Felton for eighth grade health.
Help.
I had it health, and I was loquacious. I was
Right?
loquacious.
We were
I had
loquacious together.
we were loquacious together, and I'll say as far as connecting, and we're gonna get into it, but just to set a tone as far as connection, you used to let me sit in there on your lunch period and or your planning period and watch Golden Girls. And I never ever had an interest in watching Golden Girls. But I every time I see Golden Girls, I think about that and I think about how you created a safe space because had I been out there at lunch, I probably would have been getting in trouble or getting in fights or, you know, fighting somebody on something. And you created that safe space. You connected with me, so I'm always grateful to you for that. Which is
And I
why
still watch Golden Girls. I still watch Golden Girls. It's
it's a double pleasure.
every now and then
I'll
I
say
still.
it's a double pleasure for me to be here. So thank you and thank you again. What's
Yeah,
up, guys?
thank you.
Today we're gonna have a nice little conversation, me and Miss Felton King, and hope you guys can stick with us and talk back to us. I will be in the chat, so if you see me say something in the chat, please talk back to me. As you know, I am talkative.
Look, it's okay. It's okay. I'm curious how many folks have actually watched the TED Talk. You think they've already watched it? I don't
I
know.
really, I really hope they have.
I
I
mean,
think
it's
they have.
okay. Maybe not, because we
I
gonna
hope,
show.
I
We
think
can
they
show
have.
it. We can show
Yeah, we got some yes ma'ams. Yep, we got some yes ma'ams. We got some Golden Girl fans in the house.
it. Well, we're not watching that today. Yeah.
Since we're here, if you did watch Golden Girls, who was your favorite one? Who was your favorite one, Miss Bowen?
Oh, really? So I'm going to tell you, Dorothy is my favorite
Your favorite one?
because she was hilarious. Sandra, Sandra, really? She said Bledge, and y'all gonna hear from Sandra. She's another one of my fellow TEDx folks with me. I'm excited. Oh, Dorothy and Keisha, you can't even choose one.
Rose.
Matthew.
All of them. All of them. I
Oh,
like
the
it.
mom. Oh yeah, that's Sophia. And you know what was funny? Just funny random trivia. Sophia was the youngest one. Estelle Getty was the youngest. out of all of them, even though they dressed her up in the makeup and things like that. She was the youngest one. I thought that was interesting. But that
Mhm.
show's still on. I love it. Yeah, so can you imagine the
Oh,
teacher and the student, we hanging out at lunch watching the Golden Girls. And that's back when there was
oh,
a
interruption.
TV we
No,
rolled. Remember, we had a TV on the cart. The TV was on the cart. We had to hook it up there. Yes. But I think we should probably show the TED Talk. I don't know if we want to show a look. Maybe we can show it in segments. What you think?
um, we can do it in segments. Let's do it in segments. Let's see if we can. Let's try segments.
So I think what I'll do is show just a few minutes of it, and then maybe we could talk about that first part. Okay. All right. So I'm going to go on mute real quick. We're going to be quiet for a second. I'm going to go ahead and share a little bit of the first part, and then we will be right back. For the last 20 years, I've worked either in a school or a school district or with schools and school districts. And because of that experience, I can guarantee you that right now, somewhere, if you listen closely, there is a teacher saying, "Are you listening to me?" I can promise you, out of the other ear, you're hearing a mother somewhere saying, "Are you listening to me? Why do I have to say the same thing over and over again?" And it's a fair question. Because as anyone who works with children, sometimes it feels like you are talking to an empty void. There's so much noise going out there, so many things that they're listening to. You're wondering, are they really listening to us? So it's a fair question. So how about if I could convince you that not only are children listening to us, but what we say to them really matters. As we pour into them, the things that we say are critical. And so I learned this lesson early, actually, from my own two children. When they were younger, they were probably about 6 and 8, and I was driving them to soccer practice. And I remember my daughter says to me, "Mom, can we get some ice cream after practice?" And I said, "I'll think about it. No big deal." I'm focusing on where I was going. Thinking the conversation was over, I hear her in the back seat whisper to my son, "We're going to get some ice cream because I think about it means yes in adult language." I turn around, I look at her, I'm like, "What?" And she's like, "Oops, did I say that out loud?" And I said, "Yes, I heard you." And it made me realize that even when we don't think that our children are listening, they really are. So things that we say, how consistent we are, and even how inconsistent we are. And so maybe that's not your experience. But maybe you can think about some things that were said to you when you were a child. I know I can think back and I remember, "Clean your room, Shauna. Do your best, Shauna. Eat your vegetables, Shauna." I still don't like cauliflower. But I also remember, "Don't make me pull this car over." I also remember, "Don't you embarrass me in this store. You better not put your hands on anything." I remember those words. I remember, "Money doesn't grow on trees." And my dad telling me, "You think I'm made of money?" And then if I dare would say, "You're not being fair," an adult would remind me, "Life is not fair." Y'all must have had the same adults in your lives. But that shows us that we are listening. Children are listening because whether it's 10, 20, or 30 years ago, you still remember those phrases that were said to you. Great educators that I get a chance to work with every day know that words don't just communicate, they cultivate. They can cultivate growth in our young people. And I'm grateful that I had some great educators growing up. But I also know I was that child. I was a child where there was probably several adults saying, "Are you listening?" And that's mainly because I was always talking. See, when I was growing up, it wasn't this digital age. I still have handwritten report cards where they wrote comments in pen. And I can go back and look at them and they say, "Shauna needs to learn how to stop talking. Shauna will do fine as soon as she learns to stop talking. Shauna will never reach her potential until she learns how to stop talking." See, I probably did talk till it distracted a lot of adults. But I also remember my 11th grade accounting teacher. Miss Wilkins took a different approach with me. Now, I know I was talking in her class because my two best friends were in that class. I know I was talking. And so one day after class, she says, "Miss Loquacious, come here. Miss Loquacious, come here." I'm looking around to my left and to my right. "Miss Loquacious, my name is Shauna." I had no idea loquacious meant talkative. She said, "Yes, I know. I'm talking to you." And she calls me to her desk and she says, "You know you have a warmth to your voice. That's why you always get caught. It kind of carries. And because of that, that's actually a strength of yours. Have you ever thought about going into speaking?" Whoa. In all of my years, I had never had anybody talk about my voice in a positive way. It was, "Shut up, be quiet, that's enough of that." What? And she said, "But I don't want you to just use it. I want you to value that because that's a gift. I want to introduce you to a Toastmasters program. As a matter of fact, there's an awards program that I'm chairing, and at the end of the school year, I'd like to help you to be the MC for that program. I think you do a great job."
Wow. I've although I've listened to it a few times, watched it a few times. I was kind of mad you stopped it. I was kind of mad you stopped it. So let me ask you this: the story about your well, we didn't get to the story about your daughter and ice cream yet. Did you?
Yeah,
Okay.
and
So
so yes, go ahead.
tell me about that. Your daughter and ice cream. What did that moment teach you about how children interpret our words?
So really, Matthew and Morgan, my kids, are so perceptive, but so are most children. And a lot of the things that kids hear, they don't tell you that they heard them. They're watching us from, little people. I mean, you can even see babies who imitate the adults around them. So they watch, they listen. And when I said, maybe we'll get some ice cream, and when Morgan said, "Oh, that means yes in adult language," I had never thought about the fact that most of the time when I say maybe, the answer ends up being yes for them. But even at that young age, they were able to pick up patterns. Okay, well, if she say maybe, that means yes.
Mm.
And I didn't realize that, but how smart they are to pick up those things. So, as I said, they know when we're consistent with what we say and when we're inconsistent with what we say. And, they can begin to play on that really, really early if we don't watch it. And so I think knowing, we think because they're little people that they don't see these things, but they do. They do. Even when we don't. Yep, Michelle, even when we think they're not paying attention, they absolutely are. They absolutely are. And that changed my life. So now even my kids are much older now, teenagers. I try to, and they're on here, so I probably shouldn't say this, but if they ask me something, I try to pause and not say anything because I'm like, if I say, "Oh, I'll think about it," that means I'm supposed to say yes. Well, maybe the answer is going to be no.
Yeah, that's
Maybe
the
it's
way
going to
it's
be no.
not. You don't want to give them too much right now. Like you be okay with saying yes, but you don't want to give them yes right now, and you don't want to be the automatic no mom. I get that. I get that.
Absolutely.
It's so easy to
Absolutely.
be the automatic no mom.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, I thought though, because when I talked about the different sayings I heard growing up, and we may even want to ask some of the folks in the chat, I remember, and actually, I don't know, did someone ever tell you something like, "I'm not made of money" or "money doesn't grow on trees"? What type of things do you remember growing up?
Yes, that was it. Where do you think we getting this money from? That's I remember specifically. I grew up not believing in Santa Claus because my mom did not believe in giving anybody else credit for the work that my parents did. She said, "No,
Oh,
I'm going to work. Your dad's going to work. We pay for these things. It's not some strange man creeping in the house at night putting gifts up. Like no." So it's always been a thing like that with money. So they always say like it don't just grow on trees. We
we're not
working.
gonna pretend. We're not about to pretend about a Santa Claus. We're not about to do that.
Mm-mm.
We not. Money doesn't grow on trees. Michelle says, I meant what I said and I said what I meant. Ooh.
Part. That part.
And those things that our parents said to us, because my parents gave some very good advice. They gave me encouraging words. They absolutely did. But I also knew, and somebody just dropped it. If I said, can we go to McDonald's?
Do you have
Do
McDonald's?
you have McDonald's money?
Do you have McDonald's money?
Ashley, now you got a baby girl. Do you say that to her?
I don't take her to McDonald's.
You said we only ain't doing McDonald's.
No, not to ask me. She know not that. We might go get some ice cream, but that's it. That's
Okay. It's like, but
she,
do you have
but,
McDonald's money? Or my mom would say, we got McDonald's at home.
but we got food in the house.
I'm like, that's not the French fries. It's not the
I'm that
same.
I'm that mom. We got food in the house.
It's
I'm
not
the
the same.
keep crying. I'm gonna give you something to cry about. Oh, we gonna take you to the trauma.
Oh, Lisa,
That's a whole nother talk.
you done bringing trauma on people. I'm gonna give you something to cry about. Look, that's the one I think I said in the talk. Don't make me pull this car over. See,
I
everybody didn't get that one. Everybody understand what I meant by that.
I don't think
You see, you don't. Somebody
think I,
know. Somebody in that chat know. If somebody said, "Don't make me pull this car over,"
who's saying it now. That's what I want to know. Who's saying it now? Who's telling them kids that now? Put that in the chat. I want I want to know who that one is. Listen, okay, Miss Glenn. Okay, Samantha. iPhone 705. Get them.
yes, you knew if the and from do not make me pull this car over to when my mom said. And again, everybody may not have gotten it, but there's certain things that we said. So when my mom said, "You better not touch anything,"
So, like in a store.
and yes, in the store, don't put your hands on nothing.
You break,
We
you
get ready
buy.
go in here. No,
Which means you break, you buy. So don't touch
you break
anything.
it, you buy it. You break it, you buy it. Just you stay close to me. We get ready to do this. And there was a level of, but and it was, even though I was talking about positive words, there was a level of expectation about how we were supposed to interact and do certain things. And sometimes, look, somebody just put, I missed who said it. Sometimes it was just the look.
Yes.
They didn't even
Yes.
have to, because they had said it so many times in your presence that if you were across the room, for me, it used to be if I was in church or something, I was sitting somewhere else, my mom could give me that look and she didn't have to say a word. Yep, there, the look said the look, the
So look,
words speak.
I felt so good when I felt like the look worked for the first time. I was like, I just leveled up in momhood because I gave it that look like one time. Like I'm gonna give you a second to think about what you just said. And
Yes.
when she self-corrected, I called my mom actually. I told my
Look, my mom is on the line and she just called out and it's causing me some remembrances right here. Don't make me, it was either don't make that school call me where it is. Don't have that teacher call me.
today, specifically today. It was today.
Don't you
Let
do it. And actually, I'm gonna tell you, there were a couple days where the teacher called,
me call.
and my mom was so nice on the phone.
Mm-hmm.
She was to the teacher. I knew, and she would say, "You know what's gonna happen when you get home." So y'all,
Mm-hmm.
some of y'all know we're not supposed to say that today, but I'm just telling you the truth. It was like
You know what it is.
we know what it is. We know, and so those words still stick. And what I often ask teachers in some of my workshops is like, how many of you had somebody said stuff to you and then you repeat those things and you're saying those things to kids, some of those same phrases that adults said to you now say them to young people. And some of them I think absolutely carry on. Some of them I don't even know if they work anymore. The kids be like, what?
Yeah, they a lot of the things resonate, and I've learned as an educator that even when you feed them positivity, so you meet this resistance. It's
Mm,
in the definition of strange or weird. It is unfamiliar to them
yeah,
because they're catching all the other stuff everywhere else.
yeah,
Like we were discussing earlier about the specific population that I work with. A lot of those students show up. They've already gotten into those heated arguments with parents. They're showing up with backpacks because they just got put out.
mm,
So it's they already, and then they have those unhealthy relationships with their parents. So they're already catching that. So
yeah,
it does nobody any justice or any help to have them come and you add on to it. You
yeah,
won't be you just like that person, or
yeah.
and
And
when
it,
you
it
meet
go ahead.
them,
Hmm.
like, have you ever thought about modeling? You're so handsome. Like, look at your skin, or you you're so much smarter than the people you hang around with. And I'm gonna tell you that. Like the conversations you and I have, I can't. They what? Huh? They never see themselves as that. They never hear that. So I do think it's very, very important to
Yeah,
make sure that if we're going to use words, because you you don't have to all the time. Half of the words we use with these kids, we don't have to. We don't have to. So if we're going to use words, let those
yeah,
words be something that you want to stick, or you wouldn't
yeah.
have mind stick to you.
And one of the things I tried to say in the talk is words don't just communicate, they cultivate. And so you want to think about what are you cultivating in in young people. Now, I am not saying, of course, that you don't correct behavior. We have to have expectations. We have to know there's certain things, but at the same time, especially, and I know I have a lot of educators on the line.
Mm-hmm.
We also want to know how are we pouring something positive into them, because as you said, many of them are coming from spaces where just negative things have been said to them. That's all that's been told to them, and they don't respond to that. They get on guard, they're on edge, and so they're ready to battle with you. And I'm like, that's not who I'm not here from. And as some one saying, I think Nicole put in the chat, I'm not one of your little friends. No, I'm not one of your little friends, but there can still be a level of respect that goes both ways here. There's got to
So
be some respect that goes both ways.
in a matter of correction and connection, right? You
Yep,
mentioned correction and connection,
exactly.
balance being firm and nurturing. Like, how do you balance the two?
Yep. And I think in the literature, there's a term called being a warm demander. And a warm demander are teachers who have high expectations, but also provide a high level of support. So when you have, and what I tried to be was that teacher who wanted certain things from you. But that also means if you need help, I'm here. You want to be the teacher, you want to be the adult that a young person can count on, not for foolishness, but the same adult who can say, you know what, I know you can do better, and I'm going to help you. And I'm going to hold you to that high expectation. And that's what my parents did. That's what many of my teachers did. Even when I wasn't quite making the mark, they
Mm-hmm.
were like, but Sean, okay, that's why we're not going to tolerate this from you because we know you can do better. We know you can do this and we're going to help you with that. They didn't give up on us. And right now, unfortunately, I think there's a lot of us who are getting so frustrated with the young people nowadays because there's a lot of stuff that we can't give up on them because how is that going to help to still maintain expectations, but still providing that support for them as well?
I think that's a big part, and I'd like to add that those expectations you meet them, they meet them a lot quicker and a lot more firm when they know. Like I can tell the kid, I ain't never done you wrong. Like I've been consistent with you, the things that I told you to do, and you actually did. So
Mm-hmm.
right, Nicole says expectations with support, exactly just that, versus just shouting the demands. You're having the demand without the, and I come from that being more militant and assertive and a little more edgy. It's like, look, kid, like you see your dad, you on your way. Let's not do that. Let's do X,
Yeah,
Y, and Z. Versus saying, look how you feel and look
absolutely.
at what's going on. You know you have the power. You know you have the choice of you actually possess the capacity to be different versus saying you're gonna be just like X, Y, and Z.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And you said it, but you said it. Did I ever do you wrong? What that is you're pulling on that relationship, right?
Gotta
That they know who you are. And unfortunately, you don't have that day one
no. Oh no.
when they first meet you. I mean, unfortunately, gone are the days where, now I'm not saying all children, right? But
Right.
sometimes when you just say that kids should respect me because I'm the adult, okay, I agree with you, but sometimes it does not happen.
It does not translate.
It does
There's
not. They're like, huh? They really believe that you got to earn their respect first, and it's just the kids today are different.
they're different. And if I feel if we want to be effective, we have to pivot. We have to adjust. I come from the time of educators were esteemed. It was like back in the day, I remember when my parents were growing up, car salesmen like were it. When I grew up, that was educators for me. I even now I would never call you Shauna. I have other my teachers or call me so and so. You got to be crazy. I'm never gonna, So being an educator has always been of esteem, but now it's different. The way they look at communication, the way they look at relationships, it's that respect is it got to be earned. I'm not gonna respect you just because of who you are. I don't care who you are.
Yeah.
And while a lot of our educators, we come from a place of that old school mentality, we're starting to see that when we're met with that resistance, we're like, oh, well, these kids are different. I'm not dealing with them anymore.
Yeah.
And it should always be them that changes when in fact, now these kids are different and we need to change the approach and how we connect and communicate with them. Because if we don't, we're going to keep meeting the same issues, and we have so many exterior, so many outer challenges to the educational field that it might behoove us to try to make the adjustments on our part.
Yeah. And I don't want to minimize this. It's hard. And
Yeah.
and and I mean when you talk about an educator who says, "Wait a minute, I'm not going to deal with being cursed out or being disrespected and stuff like that." You absolutely understand that. And we don't want to put it all on educators. Parents have a role too. I mean, because some of this, it's a matter of what's allowed, not this doesn't just show up at 14, right? We used to always joke to say, okay, well, you think that behavior is cute when they 4 and 5,
Are you laughing at them then?
and then later on when you want to stop them when they're a teenager, and it doesn't work that way. So it really has to be a community approach, an adult approach to say we've got to be able to put the thank you, Dr. Ashworth, put the work in to be able to say we're investing um in our children. Look, I
Yeah.
see the chat blowing up. Oh my goodness.
I was just oh, thank you. That's your compassion and flexibility. Thank you. It's I don't know where it comes from. Now I do know where it comes from. It's not me. Thank you guys for fighting this fight with us. Honestly,
Yeah, yeah.
on
I
that,
think
man.
we I think we're going in a minute. We're going to show another. We're going to do clips of the TED Talk. Of course, the full video is out there on YouTube. I'll show another clip, and then as soon as I show this next clip, I've got a couple folks that I want to bring up. There were some other TEDx speakers with me that day, so we'll get to them. Some of you, I see you. If you haven't already sent me a message to let me know you're here, do so. Send me a private message. Let me know you're here so that we can do that. And we'd love to just talk about the TEDx experience or anything else that you put in the chat. So let's go back to the talk and we will be right back. Here, this teacher took what had always been a problem and turned it into potential. And her words still stick with me today. And great educators everywhere are doing the same thing. Because sometimes we have kids who a lot of people are calling bossy. And we're able to use our words to say, you have leadership potential. How can I give you the opportunity to use that in the right way? Or we've got kids who are just as nosy as I don't know what. But we're saying, you know what, let me introduce you to some research. Because that's a skill that can help you. Or we've got teachers who are dealing with talkative kids like me. We're saying, you know what? You possibly could be on a TEDx stage one day. And each day, as educators, we pour into these children, knowing that our voices can become their inner voice. But let me not sugarcoat this. There are days when children's behavior can drive us to distraction. Have you been around a child lately? Have you been in a school lately? There are some days when, as educators, we say, what were we thinking? Now, I taught middle school for the majority of my time in the classroom, and I will never forget. There was one day that I was teaching this lesson, and I know I was teaching. I had prepared for this, and I was teaching. And in the back of the classroom, this 8th grader says, "Oh, this is boring." Excuse me? Now, I know I just talked about reframing some negatives into positives, but let me be clear. At that moment, I wasn't thinking about reframing anything except his disrespect to detention. And I took his words personally. What do you mean this class is boring? You know what? You need to get out of here. And I took it personally. And I said, wait a minute. How can I, knowing that I'm supposed to say positive words to children, deal with behaviors like disrespect that they're seeing in so many different places and often modeling? How am I supposed to deal with that? Well, let me tell you where I found the answer. The answer I found is a tool that was in my bathroom drawer. You may have one as well, and I'd like to introduce you to that tool. It's a Q-tip. A Q-tip. It's like, you know, the Q-tip that helps clean out some things that are not supposed to be there, a Q-tip. And so when facing children or kids who are demonstrating something that doesn't make us feel good, or even sometimes adults who are acting like children, what I say is, think about a Q-tip. A Q-tip stands for quit taking it personally. Quit taking it personally. Because when we take it personally, we respond personally, and sometimes emotionally, and sometimes not always the right way. So when a student says something that I need to correct, but I want to think about how to still do it and maintain my job and professionalism, I've got to remember the Q-tip. You can use that too, even if you don't teach 8th graders. Because I promise you, at some point, you're going to run into an adult who acts like an 8th grader. We can use the Q-tip rule in a lot of different ways. So not just using words to communicate and cultivate. We know we use words to respond and not just react. But also, we need to be able to use our words to maximize what we know as the mirror neurons. What are mirror neurons? I'm glad you asked. Mirror neurons are these wonderful cells that light up not just when we do things, but when we see others do it. That's why if I smile at you, chances are you'll smile back. If I yawn, many of you will catch it, but don't do it right now. But that's even if if I laugh, if I continue to laugh, many of you will catch the joy that I have and begin to laugh at the same time. It's the power of the mirror neurons. And so while I'm talking about what we say matters, it's also true that we know it's what we do. James Baldwin says, children have never been great at listening to their elders, but they have never failed to imitate them. And we know that's true. Our children are seeing so many things in our world today. Our children are seeing where there are negative things happening more than the positive. Through social media, through politics, through media, so many things that they're seeing. We live in a world now where shouting and fighting goes viral, where insults win elections. We're living in a world where tearing people down trends better than building people up. And our children are listening and watching. And if we really want more from them, we have to show them something different. So to be able to know that we don't want disrespect to speak louder, we want our dignity and our decency to carry the way. So the next time you say, "Are children listening?" I promise you they are. And what we say still matters. Thank you.
Wow, that was great. Yes, standing ovation and tears of gratitude. Thank you. Yes. Yes, thank you so much. I think the Q-tip idea is great. Can you expound on that for a second? I don't think I'm the only one wanting just a little bit more on the Q-tip. How did you come across that? Can you talk to us about that a little bit?
So the Q-tip is something I've kind of taught for several years. A lot of educators, some of those who were in the chat who've been in previous workshops, I've done a lot of workshops around classroom management, discipline, and student behavior, and things like that. And when we talk about whatever the student is doing, I used to mention that sometimes we take it personally. And when we say, "How dare you talk during my class? How dare you say this certain to me?" We take it very personally, and then we respond a certain way. And so the Q-tip is actually an acronym that I heard of that I was like, "Oh, that's brilliant. Quit taking it personally." Now I know it's difficult, but if you think about it with children, even with loved ones, a lot of times people's behavior has nothing to do with us. They may be going through something, there's something else going on, and it has nothing to do with us. And when we take it personally, then we respond personally. Give you a quick example, and my kids, hopefully I know they've heard me say this. When I'm driving on the road, if somebody, look, Matthew or Morgan, you're in the chat, tell me what I'm about to say. If somebody on the road is driving crazy or cuts me off or something like that, it's real easy to get mad at them. It's real easy to be like, "What in the world are you doing this?" or something like that. Check out Matthew. Matthew's my 19-year-old son. What I say is, "I hope your family is well. I
Mm.
pray your family is well." Because what I don't do, because it's easy to say, "How dare you cut me off?" I'll do that type of stuff. And I'm not saying that they're doing the right thing, but at that moment, I pause and I say, what if this person just found out their mother was in a horrible accident and they've got to get to them? And they are trying frantically to get to the emergency that is with their family. Now, I don't know that that's true, but I don't know that it's not. But the only way I can do that is by not taking this negative behavior personally. I'm grateful I got my kids safe. I didn't, something on the road didn't happen. And I literally say out loud, "I pray your family as well." Now, at
Baby.
first, it was hard because I remember one time I was upset that something had happened, and my kids will remind me, "Mom, aren't you praying their family as well?" I'm like,
Yeah, right.
"See, I told you kids, listen.
They
I
do.
told you kids, listen." But sometimes we have to not take other people's behaviors personally, whether it's children, whether it's adults, and realize that it's not about us. We can only control ourselves and decide how we're going to respond. Now, I'm not saying we excuse disrespect. I'm not saying we tolerate disrespect. But what I'm saying is being in charge of not why they're doing this and just determining how we are going to respond, not react, but how we're going to respond.
I I read in a book too, and it says to take nothing personally. And while it discussed like negative comments or you're fat or you're ugly, it also says if someone says you're beautiful or you're smart, don't take that personally because you should know that you are. Um,
Mm,
and and I think that translates a lot to we have to give them to those kids
yeah.
because what they get again, if we take it personally, we're going to respond negatively versus just don't take it personal. And I believe the book it stated something about what I say to you is not because of you. What I say to you is because of me.
Exactly.
And they're facing again so much outside that it's not. It's so much bigger than us, and we don't think in terms of bigger or more important than us. But it is. It has nothing to do with us. Speaking of books, speaking of
Look,
listening, tell me about it. You have a book, Children
I
Unleashed.
do, I do. And so some people said, "Well, how'd you come up with the TED Talk or what you were going to talk about?" And some folks who know me, I see a couple folks from Anne Arundel County where I do a lot of work, who know what we say matters is kind of in my signature keynote for several years now. And in 2022, I wrote a book called Children Are Listening. What We Say Matters. Here, cheap plug here. I don't know if you can see it on here, but and thank you, Morgan. She's helping me out today. The link is in the chat. Um, the book Children Are Listening is it is where the TED Talk came from. It tells a couple of my stories. It also is for parents and for teachers to be able to give strategies to say, how do we talk about certain things? How do we respond to behavior? How do we show kids that there's hope? There's a chapter that talks about labeling kids. There's a chapter that talks about building confidence. There's one that talks about the difference between the intent of our words and the impact of our words, because that's not you can intend for somebody to hear one thing, but what's the impact? And that chapter talks about how to really evaluate that. So those of you, if you don't already have a copy, we're going to give away a copy today, but if you don't, the link is on Amazon. I would love your support on that. The book is there. And if there are other educators or principals or stuff like that on the line. It's good for teachers, it's good for parents. And last 2024, Los Niños Escuchen, it's available in Espanol. So
Yeah.
I messed that up. But if you're at a school or organization where you have a higher Spanish speaking population for your parents, it's a good back to school gift um, for them. Sometimes I'm doing back to school workshops and things like that, and they will offer that as the takeaway after the workshop. And it's the same conversation around language and supporting kids.
Yes, Nicole says she already has her copy. All right.
And
Okay.
Nicole's a budding author. She is an author. She's got some books too. Go in and put your stuff in there. Everybody can talk
Okay,
about it.
Nicole. Go ahead, drop the
She
link,
does.
Nicole.
She does. I think she's got the suicide
We got
prevention book. Go ahead. We shouting at everybody. When there's resources that can help our community, our families, we definitely want to be able to do that. Oh, we do have AACPS in the house. I love it. Thank you, Samantha. I see Dr. Ashbrook, and she just retired. But those are folks who know that what this conversation around words and language has been kind of my thing for quite a bit. I do a lot of training around student behavior, and I do things, motivational and keynote speeches on hope, but language is kind of my spot. And so this TED Talk really was just really in line with the message I think God has really given me to share with people. Yes, words give hope. Words give hope.
Yes, there are no bad. That's another one. I'm glad you said you talk about labeling in a book because with them kids just bad. Those kids just hard. There's no such thing as a bad kid. I like iPhone 705. Thank you for putting that in there.
I do. I had a student one time to me, and I talk about this in the book, and then we're going to get to some of the folks. I had a student when I was a principal who came to me. He came to my office, and he got in trouble for something. I said, why did you do that? And he said, because I'm bad.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, what
So
do you mean you're bad? And he was first grade, and it was like he had already inhaled the language to the point that he defined himself as bad.
label themselves.
That he defined himself as bad. And I said, at this year, and granted, we all joke, oh, that kid bad. Oh, we all joke about stuff like that. But we got to also be careful, because when we keep telling these kids, you're bad, you this whole type of stuff, they are listening.
It becomes so much harder to convince them that they aren't once it's been put
Yep.
into them so much and now they're spitting it out. Now they're
Exactly. Now you can do bad things, but then you can correct that. That's not who you are. Because I'm so grateful I'm not who I what just the behaviors. None of us can be what we are, the worst thing that we've ever done. We don't ever want that to be our identity. And so many people, the children are taking on the identity of some of these things, and that's not what we want them to do. Not what we want them to do. So, do we show the blooper? Do we want to bring the folks up? What do you think? What do you think we should do
I
next? We're
say,
only couple. What do you think?
I say everybody take a breath. I say you do with the blooper. Go ahead and put
Okay.
it in the chat, you guys. If you guys are gonna not take it personally, if you're gonna practice Q-tip, go ahead and put that in the chat for me so we can make sure we are all aligned. I say you go ahead and play the blooper. I'm excited to see you
Well,
do
let me set this up. Let me set this up, because some of you may have noticed it. Did you hear anything during that TEDx talk that was like, well, what was that? What was that? I don't know if you did. Uh,
Bro, it was a
did,
bang, Karen. You kept your composure
he
though.
said there was a bang. There was a bang. So I was telling folks there was a delay in trying to get this TEDx done, TEDx out, and it's because they had to do some editing. And I'm going
Mhm.
to show you the moment, and you will see what happened and how I tried to keep it together. How I tried to keep it together during that moment. And the only reason we have this video is because my daughter went with me and my daughter was secretly recording in the back because they edited it out of the full one, but I had to laugh when I go back and look at it. So check this out. All right. Okay, not that one. Hold on one second. Here we go. And if we really want more from them, we have to show them something different. So to be able to know that we don't want disrespect to speak louder. We want our dignity and our decency to. Did you see it?
Yeah, what they say, the devil's always at work, right? The devil's always at work. I
Did
just
you see it?
like, did you get scared? Did you know that's what it was when it happened?
No, I didn't. So what happened was as you saw, the T in TED fell down. All I heard was a crash.
Oh,
And the crash was one thing. I didn't know what it was, but let me tell you, the audience was worse. And so anytime you are in an audience, whether you are in church, all that type of stuff, let me tell you, we see you. We see your faces. And so the crash didn't bother me as much as everybody's face like this.
so you know what was going
I
on.
had no idea. I didn't know if someone had just broken in. I didn't know if I was in danger because honestly, I had like about another 60 seconds left in my talk, but I decided to wrap it up.
Yeah.
The producer didn't move. She was like this. Everybody in the audience, my daughter was like this, but nobody said stop.
And I'm thinking, you did really good. And everyone is saying you did so well because I'm thinking you heard it, and then someone in the audience is telling you, nah, like it's okay, keep going. No, they're
Nobody.
all panicking. You did a great job.
Everybody was like, so this is where the training of being a middle school teacher,
Yeah.
because I've been a middle school teacher and there could be a fight in the hallway, and I was like, focus, y'all, right here. Mm-mm. Somebody else did. Mm-mm.
I remember
There's a stance. There's a stance as a teacher. There may be stuff going on around you. Hey, we looking right here. And I was like, okay, I wasn't gonna break character because I didn't want to do the whole thing all over again. But I have to laugh because my joke and Morgan and I came up with this joke that is at a time when I said we have to make sure that our kids are seeing something different. The T fell down and it turned into an ed talk because I was teaching at
completely
that point.
different. You gave it to him just like that.
That was the ed talk. It wasn't a TED talk no more. That was an ed talk.
And here it is. You are a teacher. I'm not just a teacher, but you are a speaker, and you did well. You handled it. You maneuvered. I mean, just like somebody that's on Broadway, if something happens, they can't. Beyonce can't stop.
Mm-mm.
She got it. It was raining. Beyonce was out there a few times, and if you never see it, come on, daughter said grace. Okay, we're not gonna preach it down today. It is because you said you're 11th grade teacher, and she said that you were a speaker, and that your
Mhm.
voice draws. So even while they were panicking, I'm sure they were looking at you, and
Yeah,
the fact that you kept going, they were fine.
that was, but inside, but cool face. But inside,
Mhm.
I was like, what was that? But thank you. That's just I laugh. But you look, don't let them see you sweat.
Right, you did that. I
Don't let
will
them
say
see you
you did
sweat.
that. You did.
So it wasn't just me. You guys, you can see on here. I had a uh I was one of seven amazing women who had the opportunity to carry the way for our talks. Um, this was recorded in April, out just outside of Atlanta. You'll see Chantel Henry, who's on the end on in black. She was the producer, and all the other women who I did not meet before that day, except on a couple of Zoom screens when we practiced, gave an opportunity to give their talk. And so many they are from across the world. This is not just a local event. TEDx pulls people from not just the United States, but from all across the country. And so I invited all of them to come. All of them could not make it today because literally there are some who are, it's 2 o'clock in the morning. And I think, I don't know if Laurie's here. She says she might, it's two, because I think she's in Australia, but I invited them. And so just real quick before everybody jumps off, I would love to let those who are here come up to the stage. They're going to tell just the topic of their talk, and then we're going to drop the link to their talk in the chat so that you guys can check that out. So let's see um, who we have. And I want to see if I can bring Sandra up. Sandra, I think I saw you. Yep, she's raising her hand. I am going to bring you to the stage.
I'm here. Hey,
There she
Shauna.
is.
How are you?
I am wonderful. I am wonderful. It's so good to see you. I haven't seen you since April. Aren't you excited
I
about
I
those?
know I'm supposed to be going to work. I told them they gotta wait until I finish with this, so they'll be good till I get there.
Well, thank you for coming. I appreciate you taking the time to come share this with you. The floor is yours. Tell the audience about your talk. Yours was fascinating, and then we'll drop the link to yours in the chat.
Okay, well, thank you. Well, first of all, I wanted to support you. I'm just so excited for all of us. This is truly amazing, and I didn't realize how amazing it was until people started telling me, oh my God, it's amazing, you know. But my talk was on the transformative power of solo travel. I am I'm a self-love coach and a solo travel enthusiast. And basically, I wrote a book. It's called On My Own, and I put the link. And the TEDx talk came from that book. And I talk about how solo travel is transforming. It's not just about going to these exotic places, that I realized that I was learning all about myself and learning to love myself and really get to know myself. And you were the one that made me realize that in my talk, I had two educators in there, the stories. And one was a positive and one was a negative that I turned into a positive, right? So it is very important as educators that you're mindful of what you say to students because it can be life lasting. One was a joyous occasion where I really admired that teacher, my music teacher, with the opera and the classical music. And then the other one was the gym teacher who traveled all around the world, and I wanted to be like her. And she said something very negative to me that stuck with me for a very long time. Um, I think till I got to Egypt when I was 52, and I was able to completely release that and heal from that. So it is very important as educators. You guys are so important, but I didn't let that deter me from how I feel about educators. I still love them all and was very respectful, but it really did some damage to me, what she said to me. And everybody will hear it if they listen to the talk. But I want you guys not to be afraid of traveling solo. Research, social media, all that would help you. Get to go see the world. And if you don't want to go far, just go local. Take a weekend away or a week somewhere here in the country and just get to spend time with yourself and learn yourself. And you will see that once you learn yourself, life will be so much easier.
That's that's wonderful. That's wonderful. And what I loved about your talk is, and you guys will see, and she starts talking about where you have those everybody going to try to come together on and plan that trip, and how that turns out to be a mess. Somebody paid a deposit, somebody else don't do this, and everybody's trying to do this, and you're like, you know what, this is not working. This, and everybody has that experience where you try to do those group trips, and sometimes they turn out to be a nightmare. It's
Yeah,
okay to solo travel.
it is.
It is
And they're making
okay.
and they're making it so much easier to do that now. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I loved it. I loved it. So please check out Sandra's talk. The link is in the chats. Definitely check it out. And then hey, plan your trip. You're not a travel agent too, are you?
I do concierge travel. Yes, I do help people book travel. I'm a
Awesome.
solo luxury and adventure travel.
Wonderful. Wonderful. If anybody has any questions for her, go ahead and put those. in the chat. Otherwise, I definitely encourage you to do that. But her message really did resonate. And it's really freeing to say, hey, you can actually travel by yourself and see so many different things. Create your own itinerary and see some amazing things. All right.
All right.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Sandra.
guys.
Yeah, appreciate you coming. Appreciate you coming, and let your boss know. We appreciate you. I'll send you the video if they needed proof that you were somewhere else.
Okay.
All right, take
All right.
care.
Bye-bye, guys.
Yeah, we need the travel agency link. We need to be able to support and you know, love ourselves with some travel.
That's awesome. Yeah, Sandra, you still there? Make sure you drop that in the chat so everybody got a couple folks asking you for that. That would be amazing. All right, I don't know, are Jaslyn or Laurie here? Any of my other TEDx speakers, shoot me a message in the chat so I know you're here so I can bring you up. I'm not sure if they made it. There was a person who talked about the importance of breathing, right? I mean, I know that sounds simple, but she really talked about the power of your breath and quiet and serenity. So that was good. I'm not sure if we have any other ones here. So we're going to close this out. Though, what do you think we should do in these last 2 minutes? I know I got to give away a book.
I think we should do that. Let's give away a book. Okay.
Oh, there's Sharon. Uh-oh, wait a minute.
We have one.
Share. Where are you? Where are you? Hold on one second. I see you raising your hand. I gotta find you in the chat. Give me 1 second. Forgive me. I see you. I see you. I see you. But I
Send it
don't see
there.
you there. I see it says raised hand, but I don't see her in the attendees list. Oh, there you are. Sharon, can you hear me?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes. Okay. I'm gonna bring you up. Hold on one moment.
Sure.
Thank you. All right, you have the floor. You have the floor. What I know, right? I just put you right on stage just like that.
I know, right? Thank
Welcome,
you.
welcome. Thanks for
Thank you.
coming.
Thank you for inviting me. Thank you for organizing this, for sharing this beautiful space with us. I really wanted to be here to support as well. Right now it's like 2 a.m., but I really wanted to be here to support you.
Sharon, where
Uh,
are you? Tell me where you are in the world.
I'm in Poland.
That's right. You're in Poland. Okay.
Yes, yes.
Yes. Tell us about yours was fascinating. Tell us about your talk though. Yours was different.
Yes, so my talk was really different. It was a story that actually I had never really shared with anyone. And so this was a very intimate story for me. And in my TEDx talk, I talked about human trafficking, and I really wanted to be a voice for other survivors and for other women who are still going through this. I wanted to raise awareness and be a voice for them to show them that it is possible truly to heal, and there is a possibility for them to overcome this and come out to the other side. And in my TEDx, I talked about how human traffickers don't just exploit people because in my case, for example, I wanted to find a job to transform my life and support the life of my son. So I share a story how because I found myself in a very tough situation where I wasn't able to provide for myself and my son. And in that moment, I wanted to travel to go to Europe, find a job so that I can support my son. And as I was excited to come abroad, really didn't know. I thought actually it was a true job, a good opportunity. All the promises looked good on paper. But unfortunately, I found myself trapped in the warehouse. I didn't have any friends in Europe. I didn't know anyone. I didn't have family. And I was really afraid to escape, and I had to stay in that situation until I managed to find my way out. So I realized that human traffickers, they really study people, because the way I got this opportunity, I got this opportunity through a friend, a mutual friend, who knew also people who were connected to the human traffickers. And I really trusted them because I thought she's my friend. We go to the same church, and I didn't detect any like anything suspicious. And this is how I decided to go forth with this opportunity. And really, it's very often that this is the way that human traffickers are really using this. They see that, for example, people have unmet needs. So, for example, if it's a woman who is trying to survive and trying to support her family or her children. So they see the gaps which are missing, and they fill these gaps with false promises. And in most cases, this is how most people become victims to human trafficking. And I decided to speak up because after I escaped, I met so many survivors and so many people who have gone through this situation, and they really were going through trauma. And even after people escape this, it's like you don't talk about it, you don't deal with it, and this trauma is still living in your body, and people don't know how to go through this. And these traumas, they often show up in life. You find people that are not even like fully showing up in their purpose. They are not uh, truly happy. They are not even engaged in daily life. And this is because it's often coming from even these traumas. Like in my case, even after I escaped and I was able to find a good job, I was able to I was already feeling safe, but because I had not yet dealt with those traumas, I was still like not showing up. I was still like something was still not right. I was still depressed. I was still not engaging. And I wanted to understand why. And then I realized that, you know what, this is connected to what I went through, and I ignored it, even if I have gone through it, but I had to address this. And once I found the things that actually helped me, then I started also to share them and to share those keys with other survivors. And I realized, and I got feedback, and people told me, I think you should talk about this. You should talk about this. And then I started to do coaching. And then I thought, you know what? I could actually use my voice, my story, to empower other survivors, to raise awareness, to strengthen people who are still going through this, who don't know how to come out of this, who are stuck, who have lost faith, who have lost even belief in themselves, who have lost their self-esteem. When they see someone like me has come out and I'm sharing my story, and I show them exactly where I was and where I am now, it is going to really make a difference. And it all started with, I really want to make a difference with my story and my voice. And this is how uh, I came to the decision to give a TED Talk, and also I started to write my book. I'm still writing my book about this, and my book will also be finished soon. But yes, it was
Yeah.
an honor for me to share this. And I also talked about how I felt shame, like I had never shared this with anyone, and for years I blamed myself. I
Mm,
blamed myself, first of all, why I was in such a low situation, why I became a single mother. And it's still like, it's really still like sometimes when I talk about that, I relive that moment. It it makes me emotional because for such a long time I really blamed myself. I didn't feel good about myself. I didn't love myself. And I even thought, okay, I left my home country. I left my son behind to come to Europe to survive and to support him. And then I ended up being human trafficked. So, like, it then created the whole trauma for me. And because I realized, you know what, if I really want to heal this, I don't have to hide this. I don't have to feel
mm,
shame about this. I actually have to come out and share it and talk about it. And this is how I continue to build resilience and to know that I'm not alone. And also, this is another thing I wanted to share with survivors because most survivors, when they are going through this, they have a tendency to think that they are alone in this. And I once felt like this. And only until I realized that, you know what, I'm not alone in this, in my pain. Actually, my talk is titled, You Are Not Alone in Your Pain. I realize I'm not alone in my pain, in my pain. Plus, there are other people out there to support me. And it was true. I was later on supported. I found support, and that's how I was able to get back on my feet. And so this is also a message I wanted to share with other survivors and with other women who are going through difficult situations, not only human trafficking, just for them to remind them that they are not alone in their pain. They are not alone in the pain. And there is possibility for them to be free, to be set free once again, to find healing, and to keep going. So thank you so much.
yeah.
I'm so
No,
sorry
Sharon,
I
thank
got
you.
emotional, but
No,
yeah, thank you so
we are
much.
we are feeling you. And first of all,
Yeah.
Sharon, thank you for sharing that story, for the bravery that you had to show in order to come up and tell her that. And so hopefully you will see all the comments in the chat, people who are thanking you and appreciating your bravery, your courage for all that you've been through, and then to stand up and say you are not alone, to let other people know, and that demonstrates your resilience. And so that day I'd heard the story, but even that day the audience was moved, and you could see many of us who were just amazed that you were able to stand strong and tell your story, even as difficult as it was. So I do encourage all of you, watch her TED Talk. It educates. It's a tearjerker. It's going to get you because she's very honest about her experience. But thank you so much. And again, it being 2 o'clock in the morning where you are, for taking the
Yeah.
time and sharing that with us. All right. I think was any of my other TEDx speakers been going on in the chat. Sandra, again, people in the chat are blowing you up. I want you to see the love that they're sending you. Please receive that because you are not alone. You are not alone. We felt your story. And even as you finish writing your book, make sure you share that information. And I can get that out to the folks on my list as well to make sure that they know that this is something that you would like to show. Because a lot of times we hear about human trafficking, television, or news and stuff like that, but you made it real and you explained to us how the practical things, how it happens, and the story of your resilience behind it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Ashley, I didn't catch. Are there any questions in the chat? Did I miss anything?
We don't have any questions right now. We have a lot of love flowing, and I really hope she's able to push her and actually capture that. We don't have any questions right now. How you feel about a book giveaway?
I'm fine with that. I just gotta figure out how to do it. Because I was gonna do the first person who was here, but everybody came in at the same time.
That is very true. Well, you want to do who came the furthest? Because I think we have somebody from ATL.
Oh, okay, we could do that. So if you are, yeah, that works. What you think?
I like that. I seen we have some good old Upper Marlboro DMV.
We love Prince George County and Maryland folks, but if you're not from the DMV and you are joining us on this thing tonight, drop what state you're from.
Oh, we have Poland. Well, Sharon's in. Well, Sharon was
Sharon, I'm gonna send you one anyway. Yeah. I don't know if anybody's gonna top Poland.
So it looks like iPhone 705 is from Atlanta. We got Suitland, we got Jessa, B Moore's in the house, Capitol Heights is in the house.
Uh-uh. I see California. You see California?
I don't see California. If you're from California, go ahead and raise your hand right now.
I see California. So always the West Coast.
Oh, there we go.
Canada. Okay, so I'm gonna need you to send me a direct message because this book is yours. I am so excited that you joined me today, all the way from the West Coast. So it is. What time is it over there for you guys? It's earlier, right? So it's probably like 5 o'clock or something like that. A little bit earlier for you guys. But I am so grateful that you came and 5 o'clock. Okay, good. And thank you for joining me. If someone invited you or whatever, I appreciate you guys tonight. And we're going to wrap up in a second. If there are any questions, anything I could answer for you, I was just excited to celebrate with you guys this evening, the TEDx talk. And I'm glad we got an opportunity to see some other folks and learn a little bit and share with them. So I'm going to do one final plug. Those of you who do not, those of you, if you work in a school, work with children, work with parents or things like that, this is what I do. My organization, King Professional Development Services, I offer professional development trainings, workshops, coaching, mentoring for those who work with kids. So if any of this content, things around dealing with behavior, makes connects with you and your organization or your school could benefit from something like that, Morgan, if you can drop my one pager in the chat, my contact information is there. Please feel free to share it. And I would love to learn more about the great work that you guys are doing and seeing if there's a way for us to partner.
And before we close out, this is now the time to, if y'all could just flood, I'm gonna say Shauna right now. This is the only time I'm gonna say that. Please flood Shauna with all the love and encouragement. We know that this was not hard. Everybody is not meant to. Everyone can't do the stand up and talk in turn. A lot of people, a lot of us can't do it. You did it. We are excited to see you do it. I'm excited to see where I first met you to where you are now, and I'm excited to see how you will continue to grow. So y'all go ahead and flood the comments right now if y'all could. Yes, love you, my amazing friend. Amazing as you are. I will concur. I will concur. Yeah,
I appreciate that. Oh, I appreciate you. And you guys know, as I said, Ashley is someone. If you had told me, I ain't gonna say how many years ago it was, that Ashley and I would stay connected and that those conversations over lunch would then later turn into something else. She had to remind me 2 years ago today. My husband and I were celebrating our 20th anniversary, and Ashley came in and let us have a great time at our anniversary party, and she just did it. So us loquacious folks, so when you got kids who like to talk and energy and stuff like that, we can turn out okay.
You make the best educators. You gonna get a lesson. You gonna learn something. Messing with us.
You gonna get something. You gonna get something.
So my kids, you done earned a lecture. Come get this lecture. You
come on over here.
You gotta learn something because you done. Oh,
but I do, again, what we say matters. Whether you have children, know a child, niece, nephew, grandchildren, stuff like that. let's make sure we're pouring into them, giving them those high expectations, high support that I told you about. They need it. This world is so different now. I mean, they are exposed to so many things. There are people who, remember back in the day, and I'm going to be done with this, where they wouldn't let kids go outside because we were scared of maybe a stranger. We say, don't talk to strangers, and we want them to do this. Well, do you know when you let them have a phone too early, it's letting them talk to strangers? And it is more dangerous now to keep them in the house and allow them to have the phone. So I'm not saying that you shouldn't allow kids to have a phone or anything. I'm just saying that we have to realize our kids are being exposed to so much and their brains are not always ready to filter in all of the stuff that's coming in at them. And don't even get into this conversation around what AI can do. Our kids need our support. They do. They need the guidance. They need correction, but they absolutely need us. And so what we say, what we do still matters. And so I want to thank you again for this time. Thank you, Ashley. This has been fun.
This is awesome. It always is. Thank you guys for showing up. Thank you guys for taking it in. Please tell a friend to tell a friend. Go and get their book. Make sure you grab the other TED Talks out of the chat before it closes, so we can show love and support those speakers as well. Thank you again.
Okay, real quick, only because I promised her. Jaslyn, I see you. I have to. Jaslyn, are you still there? If y'all have 3 minutes, Jaslyn was also on the TEDx stage. I don't know if she just got here, if she left. Let's see. Jaslyn Hall. Let's see if I can pull her up real quick. There you are. There you go. Or did she leave? I'm bringing you up now, Jaslyn. Let's see if I can get you up here. Because you were the first person who told me you were going to come. Hmm, she may have left. Oh, she not now. Okay. Okay, she said not now. Okay, okay, Jaslyn, no problem, no problem. Morgan, if you have Jaslyn's TED Talk, hers was there was a joy about hers. I can't remember exactly the title. Jaslyn, if you have the title, you can do it. Hers, I mean, there's a level of peace that came with hers. You might be able to put it in that, but no worries, no worries if you want to do that. But if you want to put your there it is, Living in the Gap. Definitely check that one out too. Check out Living in the Gap. That's Jaslyn's TED Talk. It's amazing. It's amazing. And she's another one of the beautiful women who gave their TED Talk on that stage that day. All right. All right. Thanks again, everyone, for coming. And we will wish you good night. Ashley, it's good to see you. We'll have to connect again soon.
So much. They say we need to do it again. So let's talk.
Look, I'll be looking for your TED Talk next.
Well, now. Okay. Well, listen, guys. Thank you guys so much. You all have a great evening. Thank you again.
All right. Thanks, everyone. Good night.